Alright, I'm going to remove these springs and then the pads. These pads are under 3mm. That's around the time frame that you want to think about replacing them. The brake wear indicator pad goes on the inside of the caliper bracket. Alright, we're going to be removing the abutment clips. It's always a good idea to replace these with every brake pad replacement because these wear out and they lose their tension. So we're going to use some synthetic brake grease and apply a little bit of grease on the pads. Then we put the shims back on. Now we'll flip the pads over. We'll put on this anti-squeal liquid. It's made by BG. Give it around 10 minutes to dry. You can spray the boots with silicone spray, caliper piston boots, and keep the rubber more pliable. This is a piston compression tool designed for dual piston setups. Don't use a Phillips head screwdriver to take these out because you'll probably strip them. So I use an impact tool to get these things loose. This looks like it's rusted in place, but it's coming off. There. Let's remove a little bit of corrosion buildup. We're going to lubricate the lower caliper pin so that the caliper will float and allow even brake wear. These things lose their lubrication and get stuck. One side of the pad will be wearing faster than the other side. It's always a good idea to replace the abutment clips with new ones because although they visually look okay, when they lose their tensile strength and you apply the brakes, the ears here, they shift around. So when you transition from drive to reverse or reverse to drive and apply the brakes, the ears will move and you'll hear like a thunking noise as the ears shift inside the abutment clip. Okay. These are ready to go on. Also, the brake hardware kit came with new pad spreaders. Here are the old ones and here are the new ones. So you could tell tensile strength of these springs have weakened compared to the new ones. See how much of a spread there is? So you want to get a brake pad hardware kit with new pad spread springs. Put some anti-seize on the hub so when we put on the rotor we won't have to worry about the rotor getting stuck due to corrosion. So we got our rotors resurfaced at our local retail auto parts store. So we're going to put the rotor back on the hub and we have to make sure we line it up with this hole over here that prevents the rotor from moving around on the hub. It only has to be hand tight. First put the bolts here. Now we'll take our loaded caliper. Alright, we'll torque these down. Okay, now we'll mount the caliper on the caliper bracket, but first we'll lubricate the upper pin. This will allow the caliper to float as the pads wear. Now here's the tricky part, putting these on. So you could use the aid of a C-clamp to hold the pads in place while you position the caliper over the pads. So we position the C-clamp right over here. So we put on the pad spreader springs. Then we lower the caliper assembly on. And then remove the C-clamp. Before you take off on the car, make sure you pump the brakes so that the caliper pistons are butted up against the new brake pads. And we're done.